Hello everyone and welcome to NLTI. In this video, we are going to analyze the CUET PG 2026 exam and we'll look at the overall difficulty, section-wise analysis, key highlights, good attempts and expected cutoffs. This analysis is going to help both the students who have appeared for the exam and future aspirants to know what strategy can work the best. So let's get started. Let us begin with the overview of the exam first. So the CUET PG 2026 was generally considered an easy to moderate level exam. Most questions were direct and concept based questions. So the students who were thorough with the concepts found the questions pretty much straightforward and easy to attempt. However, the paper also had some unexpected elements, some surprising elements, which we will be discussing shortly. Another important observation is that a lot of weightage this year has been given to computer basics compared to previous years. So the students who had solved the previous year question papers, they found it a little easier for them to understand these type of questions. And there was negative marking, of course, right? So for every incorrect answer, there is going to be some penalty. Now, let's understand what were the actual surprise elements. One of the biggest surprises in this year's exam was the absence of the current affairs question. Many students had spent months preparing for current affairs section and surprisingly, there were absolutely no questions that were tested around that area. Probably only one question which was related to a government or PM scheme that was tested. Apart from that, most of the students have reported that no current affairs questions were there. Most of the GK section was based on static GK and nothing from current affairs was tested. Then let us understand the overall difficulty level of this exam. So in terms of difficulty, the paper stayed from easy to moderate. Most of the questions were pretty much straightforward and concept based, so it was easy for the students to attempt those questions. Those who were thorough with the concept, they found themselves pretty much comfortable with the question paper. There were hardly any questions that involved complex calculations or any tricky reasoning. And because the paper was comparatively easier, the cutoff that is expected should be a little higher this time. So this means that the paper overall was manageable, but if you really want to bag a seat in top of the universities, then you need to score a little better. You need to score a little higher, right? The cutoff is going to be a little higher this time. So if you are scoring mark around 200 or more than 200, then there are chances that you can bag a seat in top of the universities. If you have attempted 60 plus questions, then also there is a possibility that you can bag this many marks and you can get a seat in top universities. Alright, moving ahead. Let's do a section-wise analysis and let's get started with the English section first. Now this section was fairly doable and most of the students found it pretty much manageable as well. Interestingly, the focus was more on vocabulary rather than grammar this year. There was one reading comprehension passage which had 5 associated questions which were around synonyms, antonyms and idioms. So overall, the students who had strong vocabulary could perform much better in the English section this year. Then moving ahead with the quantitative aptitude section. So this section had around 10 to 12 questions and most of the questions were direct and formula based questions. So the students who had practiced quantitative section properly found it pretty much easy for them to answer all the questions. Some of the important topics were around simple interest and compound interest, mensuration, time and distance and volume. And interestingly, mensuration had higher weightage this year comparing it with other years. So overall, this section was easy to moderate because even the calculations were not very tricky and not very time consuming. Now, moving ahead with the next section is the general knowledge section. Like we have already mentioned that in this section this year there were no current affair questions. Absolutely no current affair questions were there. Only one question related to government or PM scheme was reported across candidate feedback. Instead, most of the questions were from static GK. And under static GK, the tested areas were around Indian freedom struggle, science basics, polity and governance, and the topics that were tested were Dandi March, atomic number of sodium, some fundamental concepts of basic science and fundamental rights, DPSPs etc. So overall, students who had prepared basic GK and polity, they had an advantage here. Now, moving ahead with the next section, which is analytical reasoning. The analytical reasoning section had around 10 to 12 questions, and the difficulty level ranged from easy to moderate. The questions were quite standard, and they included topics like coding, decoding, analogies, meaningful arrangement, mirror images, and pattern-based questions. Most of these questions are commonly seen in reasoning exams, so the students who had practiced these areas well could solve the questions in absolutely no time. The next section that we have is computer awareness and computer basics. One of the most notable trends in this year's paper was that this year this section had a higher weightage compared to other years. Several questions were asked from different topics like routers, browsers, hardware and software, input and output devices, and much more. So the students who had solved the PYQs or are well aware with basics of computer found this section pretty much manageable and can score good marks in this. Now let us talk about the good attempts strategy. Alright, so around 60 or more correct attempts shall be considered good performance for this exam. However, the number of attempts only does not guarantee you a good score. Accuracy is also extremely important because this exam this year had negative marking as well, which can significantly reduce your marks if there are incorrect answers. So for those who are preparing for next year's CUET PG, things that you have to keep in mind is that you have to attempt the questions with confidence, only mark the answers which you are reasonably sure about, and do not do excessive guessing, right? Every random guess that you are going to make, if it is incorrect, it can cost you marks, and that is not something which you would want. And manage your time wisely, right? Practice as much as you can so that it's easier for you to finish your exam on time and accurately as well. Alright, moving ahead, what should be the safe score for top universities? So based on the initial analysis, any score which is above 200 shall be considered a safe score if you want to bag a seat in top universities. So students who are scoring 200 plus marks have better chances to bag seats in top universities like Delhi universities or Banaras Hindu University. However, this is only a preliminary estimate, and final cutoffs will depend on overall student performance and competition levels. Alright, moving ahead, what are the expected cutoff for this year's exam? Alright, for CLC, general category, if you are scoring more than around 218 or more marks, then you can expect a seat in CLC. For LC1, it is going to be 193. For LC2, it is going to be 198 for general category. For OBC category, for CLC, expected cutoff is to be 192. For LC1, 172. For LC2, 174. For EWS category, for CLC, expected cutoff is 201. For LC1, it's 182, and for LC2, it's 185. For SC category, CLC expected cutoff is 172. For LC1, it's 148. For LC2, it's 151. For ST category, expected cutoff for CLC is 140. For LC1, it's 100, and for LC2, it is 99. So since the paper was pretty much easy this year, the cutoffs are expected to be slightly towards the higher side. However, like I've already mentioned, these scores are just an estimate based on the initial analysis. Final cutoff is going to depend on overall student performance and the competition that is there. Alright, now based on this analysis, what are the strategies that you have to keep in mind for the upcoming exams? The upcoming exams that we have is MAHCET on April 1st and 2nd and NLSAT on April 26th. So what do you have to keep in mind if you are also appearing for these exams? So what is suggested that you should first take a short break after your CUET PG exam that has already happened. Take some time out to recharge yourself and then get back to preparation with a focused strategy. Also, now that you have given the exam, you might know how well it was, how right it was, how accurate it was. Based on that, please analyze your own performance and things that went well for you and areas where you struggled, so that you do not have to face same struggles, face same challenges in the subsequent examinations. And then you can resume your focus practice and revision for MA CET, that is scheduled for April 1st and 2nd. And once it is done, you can shift your strategy for NLSAT preparation, focus more on legal aptitude and legal reasoning, and strengthen your concepts before both these exams. So overall, CUET PG 2026 turned out to be a fairly manageable paper with a little twist as well. If your accuracy was on point and if you're scoring more than 200 marks, then your chances of bagging a seat in top of the universities are really strong and you are in a very competitive position for top universities. So wait for the final answer key and the merit list, and till that time, the best that you can do is stay calm, stay focused, evaluate your performance and focus on your upcoming exams. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and these analyses helped you to understand the exam pattern, difficulty, strategy, expected score and everything that you wanted to understand about CUET PG 2026. Stay tuned for more such informative videos. Thank you everyone.